Right now on the River Region Evening Edition, Illinois becomes the first state to sell lottery tickets online. We'll tell you the ins and the outs of this new endeavor. Plus, a local museum receives financial assistance. Find out how far grant money will go. And we'll take you on a tour of a local coffee shop that sells more than just your typical latte. Evening Edition starts now.
Live from the campus of Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. Bringing you the news from around the world and across the River Region. This is the Evening Edition.
The Illinois Lottery is adding a new way to play this week. Good evening, I'm Jenna Buckles.
And I'm Loretto Cruz. The Illinois Lottery is trying to make itself more accessible and in turn hopes to raise more revenue for the state. Evening Edition's Jim Johnston has more.
Up until last week, you had to get in your car and drive to a gas station to play the Illinois Lottery. Now, you can do it from your own computer.
Illinois is the first state to allow the purchase of lottery tickets online. Residents who are at least 18 years old can create accounts and purchase Pick 3, Pick 4, Lotto, and Mega Million tickets from home. Yet the ease of online gambling does bring with it a couple problems. Joe Thornton, the owner of Thornton's Market in Heron, says there will be some issues you wouldn't face in person.
I can see a lot of negatives. The age group as far as what we have to look for on IDs and stuff when we sell them. It's a little bit like buying cigarettes and having them transported by the mail. You just wonder who.
The Illinois Lottery is requiring social security numbers, addresses, and of course date of birth when signing up online to hopefully prevent underage gambling. Another concern being raised is the impact online gambling may have on those battling a gambling addiction. The Illinois Lottery is combating that by placing a $100 daily limit on how much people can gamble and stating that the gambling they provide isn't exactly the action addicts are looking for. As for local businesses, Thornton thinks he will still see his regulars.
They like the personal contact. They like to know that that lottery ticket has been played as opposed to putting it online and wondering whether it's going to happen.
Other states say that they are waiting to see how things go in Illinois before implementing it themselves. For River Region Evening Edition, I'm Jim Johnston.
After its first official day online, lottery tickets brought in more than $15,000 in sales.
Illinois State Police are investigating a fatal shooting in Jackson County. Saturday morning, Carbondale Police asked the State Police to investigate the shooting which occurred at 500 North Westridge in Carbondale. The victim was identified as 21-year-old Molly Young, who lived in Springton Road in Carbondale. The Jackson County State's Attorney and Jackson County Coroner are also investigating the incident.
The Carbondale Police Department is getting new police cars. The money for the cars comes from a federal grant. 24 police agencies around the state are sharing almost $500,000. Carbondale's share is almost $19,000. Some other southern Illinois counties benefiting from the grant include Alexander, Marion, and Massac.
A suspect has been arrested in Massac County in a Massac County home invasion murder. 25-year-old Michael Tompkins is charged with first-degree murder and home invasion. Authorities say Tompkins broke into the apartment of Jackie Blake and Jessica Horn early Sunday, killing Blake. Horn was treated at a hospital and was released. Tompkins' bond is set at $2 million. Carbondale is not the only place on Earth with a severe climate change. Climate change is occurring all over the world, including Antarctica. As we got closer to the summer, one of the coldest places on Earth starts to heat up as well. Antarctica is known for polar ice caps and igloos, but these popular landmarks are now melting and receding. Dean of Mass Communications and Media Arts Gary Kolb and others started an exhibit at Morris Library to teach others about the continent. Gary Kolb says it's more than just an exhibit.
So we ended up scheduling all sorts of different activities, not just the exhibition, but we have a film series, we have some musical performances, we have several lectures and panels that are happening, and in the end it involves about 20 different faculty from SIU as well as 6 or 7 people who are coming in from all around the country to participate in
all of the events are free and open to the public. More information on the symposium, visit www.antarcticasymposium.com. Today we had truly ideal temperatures.
Yeah, Loretto, today is really making me glad that spring weather came early. CM Donis is in now with the first look at weather.
Thanks, Jenna. As you take a look at some of the weather that we have coming out tonight, it's going to be absolutely wonderful tonight. Overnight lows are going to dip down to a low upper 49 degrees. It's going to be clear skies throughout all the way going into Wednesday. As you can see, 55 degrees tomorrow morning, and also by midday it's going to warm up all the way up to 77 degrees and possibly even hitting the 80s. And I will have more later on in my full forecast later on River Region. Jenna, Loretto, back to you.
Local museums are among those getting financial boosts from the state. Reporter Michonne Lindstrom looks at how the program will help museums throughout Illinois.
Museums are now able to apply for the Illinois Public Museum Grants Program. Any public museum can receive up to $750,000 to improve their facilities and develop new exhibits, something Mike Jones, director of John A. Logan Museum, thinks is great.
It's a wonderful opportunity for a small museum to get things that it can use, and if you look at it carefully, it's a good long-term investment.
In order to be eligible for the grants, the museums have to meet a variety of guidelines. $15 million grant was made possible through Illinois' Jobs Now capital program. Jones plans on taking full advantage of the grants.
And we have a couple of areas in which the board might be interested in doing that.
Jones says extra money is always helpful.
If you can get extra money, then you can do extra things with the exhibits. You can make them more professional.
In Murfreesboro, I'm Michonne Lindstrom, Evening Edition.
For more information about the program, you can visit the site at the bottom of your screen.
The sound of heels clicking and music blasting replaced dribbling balls and yelling coaches in SIU's arena this weekend. The annual Players Ball, hosted by Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity, sold more than 2,000 tickets. Several students and visitors came out to see what this self-proclaimed biggest event in the Midwest had to offer. Though there was a lot of excitement, some worried about fights breaking out. Kappa Alpha Psi's Vice President Eugene Blackman says that safety is increasing each year.
Some people have had an issue with the amount of people we have down here all in one space. At any point, there have been fights and things that have occurred in the past, but we're working on that to make Players Ball an ever-increasing event in terms of safety. We work on safety every year.
As the number of fights seem to decrease, the anticipation for another safe and fun Players Ball seems to increase.
Thanks for the support. Can't wait to do it again next year. Players Ball 2K13 coming soon.
Bring home a coffee and a couch the next time you go out for a latte.
How a new coffee shop is serving more than a cup of joe, coming up next. Secondhand furniture and coffee are kind of an unusual pairing, but Megan Emery is here with a story about an SIUC student who's making it work to benefit others. Megan?
Vintage Soul was scheduled to open after the owner graduated, but after having 2 storage units full of furniture, the student took this as a sign not to put it off any longer.
This space looks as if it's full of random furniture, but owner Justin Zunderlin explains the several purposes of Vintage Soul.
It's basically a coffee shop, and so a lot of students can come in and get coffee and hang out, and we've got a lot of seating. We've also got room for, small meetings if, people need to meet with friends or for small group projects or whatever, but then all of the furniture is also for sale.
Justin says they sell all types of furniture, but couches are recently the most popular. Customers know they are making an impact.
Half of the profits that we make here go to a group that's working with homeless people and single moms here in Carbondale. It's called Ecclesia. We use this called Gabana, and that company itself donates 100% of their profits to a group that's working in an orphanage in Ethiopia. And so basically if you buy a cup of coffee here, it's going to go all over the world.
Justin feels this is his calling and says continuing to help these organizations is keeping him in Carbondale.
Very socially justice-minded kind of place.
Vintage Soul was started with only $1,000 and is run by volunteers. Students can even gain service hours by dedicating their time.
SIUC is participating in a national recycling competition. It is designed to promote reduction at colleges across the country. But as Evening Edition's Chantel Sawyer reports, SIU could use some help.
More than 300 colleges across the country are competing in the Recycle Mania. Among those colleges, SIUC ranks 216. I talked to several students on campus to see what they thought about the Recycling Mania.
We started taking our recycling, like the church on right off Mill Street. We have bins, so that's what we've been doing because I feel like it's a important part. It's I guess help the earth out. feel like it's definitely become a lot more like controversial now. So
The contest uses several different measurement criteria, including the amount of trash that is recycled.
I think everyone at the university needs to recycle because it makes our school look better and we look more conscious about the environment.
There are several recycling bins set up all over campus so that students and faculty will consider recycling more to reduce waste. This is Chantel Sawyer, Evening Edition.
The competition ends next year. Participants can help by recycling paper, aluminum, cardboard, toner cartridges, and plastic. For more info, you can visit Recyclemania's Facebook page.
According to a new report from the Treasury Department, congested roads are costing drivers $100 billion a year in wasted fuel and lost time. The report says poor conditions of roads cost the average motorist about $400 annually for vehicle maintenance. Also in the report, the Department of Transportation says it would need at least $85 billion over the next 20 years to bring existing highways and bridges into a state of good repair. Beef Products Incorporated, the company known for making pink slime, is suspending operations at 3 of the 4 plants where the low-cost beef filler is made. Spokesman Craig Lech told the Associated Press about the suspensions at plants in Texas, Kansas, and Iowa before a public announcement about the plan. Operations will continue at the company's plant in Dakota Dunes, South Dakota. The ingredient, also known as lean, finely textured beef, has been used for years, but activists are seeking to have it banned in supermarkets and school lunches. The U.S. Department of Agriculture allowed schools to stop using the filler. Some retail chains pulled products containing it as well.
We have another chance of thunderstorms in the forecast. Weathercaster Sam Donich shows us what to expect up next.
And stocks were up today. Here's a look at your closing numbers.
And now the forecast for the River Region. This is your Evening Edition weather.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sam Downs with our Evening Edition River Region Weather Outlook. As you can see, we got perfect weather, a lot of sunshine, but there is going to be some isolated showers at nighttime later on this week. So let's get right into this weather outlook. Starting with the current right now temperatures outside, it's a lovely 72 degrees. Dew point around 50 degrees and the humidity at a perfect 50%. The winds coming from the east-northeast at 8 miles an hour and a barometer reading getting a little bit higher up there at 30.15. Take a look at the current almanac for where we got today. The high of temperatures was a high of 76 degrees and a low of 48 earlier this morning. No precipitation today. It was a nice dry day overall, and the monthly precipitation has been a fairly dry month so far at 284. Let's look at the current temperatures all around. Belleville, 70 degrees up to the north, and Mount Vernon, a little bit chilly at 67. Carbondale, 72. Marion, 71. Go down a little bit south and out to the west a little bit. Cape Girardeau, 74. And Paducah at 73. Let's take a look at the current precipitation cloud coverage map here on the national satellite. A lot of cloud coverage coming in from the Pacific Northwest. Going to be moving into our area. As you can see, it's hitting Chicago and the Quad Cities area here in Illinois. But here in Carbondale, southern Illinois, not going to see any of that at least until Wednesday. At the national radar, as you can see, the precipitation is starting to build up, mostly out in Idaho, but we're not going to see that for at least for another 48 hours. Take a look at the current temperatures for later on today. For tonight, it's going to be an overnight low of 49 degrees. The winds coming from the east at 9 miles an hour and sunset at 7:15 p.m. Tomorrow morning, we're going to see a beautiful day of high of 78 degrees with the winds coming from the south at 14 miles an hour. Sunrise at 6:49 a.m. Tomorrow night, it's going to get a little bit chilly and expect some isolated rain showers. It's going to be an overnight low of 61 degrees with the winds coming from the south-southwest at 10 miles an hour. Sunset at 7:16 p.m. For the 5-day forecast and the rest of the week, Wednesday, it's going to be some isolated thunder, but it's going to be really nice with 80-degree temperatures. The lows going to be in the low 50s. Thursday, partly cloudy skies. Same thing with Friday's. Temperature is going to drop down 71, but raise straight back up closer to the 80s at 77 by the weekend. Saturday, expect a few more rain showers, so dipping down to the low 70s. And then Sunday, beautiful 80 degrees and a lot of sun. So get your motorbikes ready.
So I thought that the saying was April showers bring May flowers, but it seems like we're getting everything all at once.
Just about, and we are about 20 degrees higher than our average temperatures too, so it's been a very, very warm year so far.
Spring weather coming early. I don't have a problem with that.
Don't know, should not have a problem with that at all.
Thank you, Sam.
The Final Four is finally set.
And the Saluki baseball team played their first conference series of the season. Rob Jesselson is here now with sports.
The Diamond Dogs tried to complete the sweep of Bradley. Find out if the Brooms were out at Abe Martin. And could the Saluki women's golf team win their second straight tournament? I'll have all that and much, much more coming up next in sports.
And now the latest scores and highlights from across the River region. This is Evening Edition Sports.
Well, the field of 68 is now down to only 4. And the NCAA's men's basketball tournament has reached its Final Four. Louisville, Ohio State, Kentucky, and Kansas will play next Saturday in New Orleans to determine who will play in the national championship game. That's just 1 week from today. And Kansas head coach Bill Self says he is pleased with his team's play and he's excited for his team to advance.
But these guys did an unbelievable job kind of just staying the course and not playing tight. And I kind of had a calm about myself today. I felt good about it, and these guys obviously played at a very, very high level.
And the Saluki baseball team could not complete the sweep of the Bradley Braves yesterday. Marion native Nathan Doris was on the mound for SIU. Doris took a 2-0 lead into the third, but a 3-run third inning and a 4-run fourth gave Bradley a 7-2 lead. Now SIU was never able to bounce back. They would cut the lead to 3 with a 2-run blast off the bat of Nick Johnson, but Bradley would come away with the 8-4 win. SIU now sits with a 2-1 conference record. Next up for the Diamond Dogs will be a date with Murray State at Abe Martin tomorrow. The Thoroughbreds are on a 2-game losing skid. First pitch is at 3 p.m. Well, the Saluki softball squad hits the road tomorrow to face the SIU-E Cougars. They hope to regroup after a disappointing loss in the series finale to the Creighton Blue Jays last night. Mallory Duran-Sellers and Jana Spivey each hit homers early to give the Salukis a 4-run lead. However, they would only get 2 hits after that third inning, and Creighton charged back with 3 runs in the 6th to tie, and an RBI single put them ahead for good to end the game 7-6. The ladies hope to bounce back from their first conference loss when they face Edwardsville tomorrow. Matchup starts at 3 p.m. Well, believe it or not, the SIU football team is in full practice. That's right, spring ball began early this morning for the guys on the gridiron. The team will return a handful of starters, including quarterback Paul McIntosh. The Dogs will lose some big names come next fall, though. Running back and conference newcomer of the year, Jewel Hampton, will leave to hopefully play on Sundays in the NFL. And on the offensive line, Brian Bomer, who was named the top center in the FCS a year ago, he'll also leave for a chance to play in the pros as well. Head coach Dale Lennon says it was a good first practice for his new squad.
And I was pretty impressed offensively, defensively. We were able to do a lot with their schemes, and you can still tell it's the first day. There were some mental errors being made, some sloppy play here or there, but it was a good start. It's something we can definitely build upon.
And finally, the Saluki women's golf team won their 3rd straight tournament today. Lady Dogs hosted the Saluki Invitational and were able to finish day 1 of yesterday in first place. Now today, SIU was able to preserve that lead and took the tournament crown with first place. The Salukis defeated the second place team by a total of 10 strokes. That was the University of Iowa. Individually, Cassie Rushing finished the tournament in first place, while Margaret Greeley, Alicia Matthews, and Shayna Renegarby each tied for 5th.
So the Final Four is set. Who do you got?
It's going to be a great couple of games. It's going to be a great championship. Kentucky and Louisville, that matchup really entices a lot of people. Both teams coming out of the state of Kentucky. Kentucky is the #1 overall seed. I like them to win it all.
All right, thanks, Rob.
You're welcome.
Up next, new research that points to snacks that can keep you healthy.
You're watching the River Region Evening Edition. We'll be New research shows eating raisins and soy may help lower your blood pressure in young adults. According to two studies presented at the American College of Cardiology's annual meeting in Chicago, munching on a handful of raisins 3 times a day for several weeks helped lower blood pressure. The study also found that consuming only an 8-ounce glass of soy milk a day lowered blood pressure by about 5 points. The effect was especially strong among African Americans. Researchers examined more than 5,000 participants. Another study confirms that popcorn could be healthy for you, assuming it's not covered in butter, oil, and salt. According to researchers at the University of Scranton, the crunchy hull is rich in polyphenols, antioxidants that prevent damage to cells. Polyphenols also have disease-fighting properties. One research says the antioxidants are concentrated in hulls because popcorn doesn't have a lot of water and because it's 100% whole grain.
Well, for today's weathercast, if you take a look at the rest of the week, we're going to see some rain on Wednesday, but temperatures are going to get really high, around 80 degrees. Later on, we're going to see some cloud coverage, but a lot of sun on Thursday, Friday, and also on Sunday. Saturday, expect some scattered showers, too. Temperatures are going to be bouncing all around the 70s and getting as high as the mid to low 80s.
So it's good to have some kind of idea what to expect here in Southern Illinois. Thanks,
Just
Sam.
about.
Thank you for joining us tonight. You can find many of tonight's stories on our website, siutvnews.com, and you can follow us on Twitter at River Region News. I'm Loretto Cruz.
And I'm Jenna Buckles. For Sam Donitz, Rob Justison, and everyone here at the Evening Edition, have a great night.